Good morning and welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman Bergeron. Once again here on Humanity Healing, offering you kind words from my heart to yours to embrace you and uplift you in ways that I hope are connecting you to your higher self as my higher self speaks through me. Good morning, Charlotte. I'm going to give a few minutes for people to arrive. And here in Maine, where I am, Maine, USA, it's morning. It's not a bright sunny morning, but the sun is somewhat shining through the cloudy morning mist of the rain we had last night, and will brighten up our day very shortly. Good morning, Joan Marie, Anita, Leonie, Catherine Hauser. Yes, bless you all for showing up. It's so nice to see you and have you present with me. Looks like on the other side it says there's 27 people arrived. So bless you all for this opportunity to speak to you. I awakened at, or was awakened at 3:33 this morning. And I just woke up a few more minutes ago after going back to bed and having a nap. It was an early arousal, needless to say, here on this day we call Good Friday. So what does 3:33 and me have to do with each other? Well, the amazing process is that I'm always guided from my higher self and all who are speaking to me at that level. And so it was an important day, and I was given, well, I can't say I was given, I arrived at 3 words. I will say I was guided to pick 3 words for today. And as if you look in the title of today's talk, it's potential, guidance, and inspiration. Oh, thank you. That's your number, 333. It's a beautiful number. It's a powerful number. Anytime we have duplicate or triplicate numbers, it quantifies the energies of the number. So the first thing I did, and I usually do, is pull some sort of meditation card or guidance card before I start to bring through what I'm to speak about. And this morning, it was this beautiful card here of Messier 74. And the card is named Shining Star. And the words for that are, as a spiritual being, I know my light shines brighter than any star in the universe. And that's how I began my day. And I want you to think about that, about yourselves being bright, shining stars. And know that your light in the world right now is very, very important. And it's not to be dismissed on any level now. We are entering a new process in human evolution where all of which doesn't serve us is being released. And that was what brought up that quote in the heading is, you have nothing except the idea that you are alone to give up. So many people now are bringing up old stuff from within their past, from their childhood, their traumas, we're looking at the world is triggering us to remember these perhaps painful experiences, all in order for us to walk away. Just walk away. Let go of the drama. Let go of the idea that you need to suffer through this, or that you need to apply some heavy magic to this, or that you're incapable of moving through this. Your potential right now is being quantified. And so as that, these are the words that I received were potential, which is an energetic frequency expressing capability; guidance, which is a directional assistance through advice as in preparation; and inspiration, meaning divine influence or sacred revelation. So here on this day, which in the Christian tradition is called Good Friday, it would be a day of where a sense of loss occurs, where people have come through, are going through some sort of programming of, we need to mourn the loss of our Savior. The message really of this day is one about the power of who we really are when we are in our darkest night or our darkest day. That we are still these beautiful beings of light, no matter what is being done to us or by whom. So these words, potential, guidance, and inspiration, are not to be taken lightly, but to be deepened into whenever our doubts and fears arise. With that said, let's, I want to talk about first, I'm going to do one word at a time. So I want to talk about potential. And as I mentioned, what is potential but an energetic frequency? How do you describe potential? It's not something you can hold. It's not something you can eat. It's an energetic frequency expressing capability, the capacity or the ability to be something or do something. It's raw energy that is waiting to be used. And each of us have an unlimited amount of that energy waiting to be used as a resource for our conscious evolution. Think about that. Think about that. You are a field of potential waiting to be utilized, to be brought forth, to manifest in this world we live in. Now, who's going to do that? We are. It's not going to be done by somebody outside of us. It's not going to be done by the spirit guides. They're watching and waiting for us to own our potential. They can help us see it. They can help us to want to or desire to use our potential, but only we have that power. We are that powerful that we can make a decision to use our potential to totally transform the world around us and the world within us. So we've crossed a threshold now of great changes, both physical and emotional, in what we call our humanity. The word humanity is, I always explain, is basically two words. Who, or hu, which is capital H-U, is an ancient word that is both a sound and an expression in many teachings of our connection to what we express as the source of God. So it's a breath of life that comes through us. And when we speak it, human, we're speaking about this God essence, this source creator essence. And man, what is man? We think immediately in terms of gender, man, male, female, man, woman. But if we take away and we really look at the context of the word man, it's basically an upright mammal. That's all we are. We're just an upright mammal. But as this upright mammal versus other upright mammals, we have the grand ability, we've been blessed with the grand ability to express ourselves as both God and just a physical being. And the question for us now at this time of our evolution is, which part of this being that I am will I choose to embrace and embody in the process of actualizing my full potential? This is who we are. We are potential, just waiting for that right moment when we decide to manifest it. It's there, it's waiting. It's waiting inside you. And this is what causes a lot of our ambivalence, is because on some level, we know we are that powerful. We are that, as living prayer of love and peace. Thank you, Gary, for those words. We are a living prayer. And I'm scrolling down on the sideline, just catching some notes here. Yeah, this is who we are. We are this pure potential. So the next word that arrived in my awareness was guidance. And, I ask for guidance all the time. We all do. But what is guidance? And what are we asking for? Well, guidance, technically, or basically, is directional assistance through advice, as in preparation, as in preparing for something. We're getting ready for something, so we're asking and looking for guidance. We're looking for the signs or the signals that say go. Everything is in alignment. Let's work on this. So for me, when I think of or I'm reminded of it, I'm thinking of like a spacecraft, the guidance system in an airplane or a spacecraft, which is somewhat automatic. It's preset, and we know that all we have to do is make sure all the switches are flipped, the communication system is on, and all I do is trust it. I don't have to do anything else. And the guidance system in that craft will take me where I'm going, and I don't have to think about it twice. I just trust it. The question I have for me, and I know we all have, is why don't we trust our own guidance system? We have a guidance system. We have assistance, grand assistance from everything in nature around us, which is continually speaking to us. We have guidance from spirit or other realms or dimensions, which is continually speaking to us. Why don't I listen? Why am I not paying attention? Why am I not trusting? This is why they wake me up at 3:33 in the morning or 2:22 in the morning or whatever time in the morning with a message. Charlie, we're here. We are part of your team. We are part of who you are in the greater whole of the universe. We have a little message for you. How many of you get that? How many of you understand that? And how many of you are not, as Joan Marie say, open to receive? So this is the key. How do we become open to receive? This automatic process, the guidance system, we'll trust it to move us through space and time or from one place to another, but we don't apply it to our own human nature. We look at it or think of it as an interruption, or I don't want to hear this right now, or I'd rather focus on this because this is what I'm doing here. And the guidance is always there. It just gets pushed in the background. We always push the guidance into the background instead of putting it up front and saying, show me the way. Make sure that I'm traveling in the right path or the right direction. And this is what our guidance, our angels, whatever we communicate with, whether you think it's your own higher consciousness, which it is, because that's what's connecting to all of this is your higher consciousness. It's still you. There's nothing controlling you. You are a sovereign being. And so you're just listening to it. You're just checking, okay, yeah, I'm drifting off to the side of the road, or there's rocks over here. Okay, this is where I need to straighten out. Okay, there's a curve coming. There's a hill coming. What do I do? How do I maneuver through this? There's darkness ahead. The light is too bright ahead. All of those things affect our journey, the journey that we call life. And so we're all seeking guidance on some level. It doesn't matter who we are. Nobody just blindly, well, yes, they do, blindly forge forward and create pain and suffering, but for both themselves and those they love, as well as others that are in the peripheral, this path. So this inner alignment has to be with our hearts, because the guidance that we are seeking that is in our best or highest interest bypasses the human brain and comes into the heart and then reflects back to the brain. We're not looking up here, out there. Look into your heart. Look into your heart and see the reflection of yourself in your heart. And ask yourself, how am I moving through this world as this being of compassion, or this being of love? Yeah, simple, just love. Gloria says, can't release control and trust in the universe fully. I try, but revert back. Gloria, you are not alone. This is the message. This is the message I began the show with. You have nothing except the idea that you're alone to give up. When we can come to that place and realize I'm not alone, and give up this yearning for something and somebody else to just wake us up. We are the ones who are now being fully in control to wake us up. We have to trust ourselves. As you can see in the world around us, it's collapsing on all levels. That sends us into fear, that sends us into chaos. But the truth is, it's providing an opportunity for us to deepen our relationship and our inner alignment so that we can move forward in this evolutionary process of humanity. So, once again, what do we trust, and what process of discernment is needed to facilitate our potential? The word we had before, potential, in the most beneficent way for both us and all other humans. The last word is inspiration. So we've looked at potential, and we've looked at guidance, and now let's look at inspiration. When we think of inspiration, or at least when I do, I reflect on what I call divine influence. I look outside of myself. I know there's a lot of people in this world who inspire me because of their actions. But I think the source of that inspiration is somewhat what I would call a divine influence, or a sacred revelation. Because what is inspiration really? It's something that sparks something up within us, makes us want to go and do something that we would have not thought of doing before, or we would have been fearful of doing because of so much of our human programming of each other and how the world has defined our behavior to be through psychology and psychiatry and rules and regulations. Potential doesn't look at rules and regulations. Guidance, true guidance, is not a rule or a regulation. It's an encouragement. So inspiration is that spark, that light within us that flashes. It ignites. It's like an explosion within us that says, I'm going to do this. I don't know how. I don't know why. All of a sudden, I feel like I've heard a message. I've got some guidance. I'm going to take that potential, that raw energy, and I'm going to make it happen. And each one of you, I know in your lifetimes, have done that. And you've done it many times. And you've not paid full attention to what you did. You look at it and you say, well, my teacher guided me, or my teacher did this, or because of this, or because of that, or because. And you've looked outside of yourselves. Today's message really is to look within yourself. And that was the message of Good Friday thousands of years ago. Look within yourself. Look within yourself and say, what am I going to do now? How am I going to react to what's going on? Am I going to look at my world ending? Or am I going to look at this as an opportunity for me to stand in my power and manifest something better, not just for myself, but for the whole of humanity? That's what inspiration does. When I'm inspired to write, I write from my heart. Has to get processed through my brain, otherwise I wouldn't write, or I wouldn't type, or I wouldn't do any of this. This beautiful brain is wonderful. This beautiful ego is amazing, but it's no longer in charge. I am in charge. That's not said in selfishness. That's not said in an ego or a narcissistic way. But this I, as I say to people, it's just the word I is in the shape of a column, a powerful column that is between heaven and earth. It receives energy from earth, and it receives energy from what we call the heavens. And we are that column. We are that column of light. Thank you. Column of light. And so most of our teachings express the divine and sacred as something outside of us. Okay? And something we're not capable of fully understanding unless we have the guidance of this person or that person, or we're told we don't have the capability to understand it on our own. And we've believed that for thousands of years. Tens of thousands of years. This goes back to when we were humbly stumbling around as people in the wilderness. Somebody came and said, I have the answer. You can't have the answer because I have the answer, and you're not able to fully comprehend this. This is what's changing in humanity now. Everybody is coming online. Everybody is getting plugged in. Everybody is receiving information right now. If you look at social media, there's a plethora of people who are channeling something or saying something or expressing something or doing something at a rate, at an exponential rate that is so great that we also have children who are doing this. Children who we'd say, they've not lived long enough to understand this. And yet many of them are appearing to have far more wisdom than the people that are running our governments and our institutions. How can that happen? It happens simply because they're no longer hearing what's going on outside and saying, you have to do this, you have to do that. They're exploring within themselves their own guidance and opening and trusting and taking the potential that they are. They have youth, they have the energy of youth and the physicality of youth, and taking that potential and doing something. It's 10:30, and I'm going to share a few minutes of why this is all coming up. And it's probably because of its fact that it's Good Friday, and we think of the death of Jesus and the resurrection, and whether you're Christian or not, it's not something you haven't been involved in, or you may have been cursed by it. This is the horror of humanity. I was awakened this morning to remind me of my own death experience. And I don't know if I've said this publicly as much as I should, but I'm one of those who have had a near-death experience. That's what clinically people like to call that. But 27 years ago, I did die. I died in a motorcycle accident. And I was guided, here's the guidance, I was guided by something that I only can imagine as an angel. I can't say that I saw it. I know there was something with me as I was leaving my body, and I was told to look down. I was told to look down and take a good long look at what I was looking at. And what I saw was my physical self laying on a stretcher on the grass where my motorcycle landed far away from me. And I was talking to a police officer or an ambulance attendant. They were trying to get information from me. And I was trying to answer them. I could see that, but it wasn't me. Me was watching. Who I truly am was watching. And I watched as I was placed on the stretcher and at the scene of the accident. My next experience, and I can only call it an experience, which obviously wasn't in a physical body, was that I became peace, that I became light, and then I became love, on levels which there are no words for. And if you listen to other people who speak of their near-death experience, they will describe pretty much the same thing. Some of them have much more information came back than I did. But what I was to come back with was to remember that my life purpose from that point on, was to anchor that peace, that light, and that love into all living forms. Even if I didn't understand them, even if I didn't like them, or even if I didn't sense them as having any energy whatsoever. And these three things you'll hear me repeat in my talks over and over and over again, is that when we focus on peace, light, and love, we start to activate the presence of who we truly are. And if it's not in alignment with peace, light, and love, take that as a message of, whoa, let me think again. Let me take a moment before I do this. Let me think about this. Let me separate myself from what I'm doing and ask again, is it in alignment with peace, light, or love? Because that's what's led me here to have these talks with you. We are far more than we have ever been taught or ever been allowed to remember. And now it's become the time for us to rise within our physicality, our true potential, fully expressing itself. listening to our higher inner guidance as creators of inspiration, influencing revelation, not revolution. With that, my dear friends, I am complete. Call it a lecture, a sermon, a talk, a sharing, whatever it is, this moment that we've had together, and for those of you who will listen later, know it as a gift from your heart to yourself. My words are just the potential. Do what you will with the potential. But know that no matter where you are, what you're going through, you have power at your fingertips to create, to co-create together a world of peace, light, and love. Thank you all for everything you do, every wonderful good thought, every baby you kiss, every person you hug, every charity you give to, every time you speak out for justice and compassion. Know that this is simply you on your road to becoming the true you. With that, I'm complete, and hopefully I won't fall asleep this afternoon after I had a little nap. And I thank you all for showing up this morning, and the blessings of this holiday season be with each of you, irregardless of your faith. Know that whatever your faith is, the same message is within that faith. Find that, anchor that, focus on that. We're not a race of mass murderers. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. We are unity. Bless you all. Have a great week, and hope the sun is shining wherever you are. Or if you need water, I hope it's raining. Bless you all. I love you. Bye-bye.